Hey, good afternoon, folks. This is Clay with Clay's AC and Auto Repair and Clay Motion here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And if you find this video to be helpful for you, please consider subscribing, clicking the notifications, sharing my videos, sending me your wonderful comments as long as they're nice, and giving me them big old thumbs up. And if you don't mind, and you're not interested in subscribing to my page, go ahead and just turn that old volume down on whatever you're listening to or watching this on. Let my videos play on. Remember, if anyone else can do it, you can do it too. So today we've got a 2006 Land Rover that we're going to remove the starter out of. It's an LR3. It's got a 4.4 V8 in it, and I'm going to show you how to get to them starter bolts that are a pain in the bucket. Looking from the passenger side of the vehicle, up underneath it, with it up on jack stands, we can see our starter assembly, and it's in there. Now, we've got our engine torn apart, but I don't think this is going to matter for removing the starter. If you have it taken apart, you need to take off the skid plates and allow access to the underneath of it. Luckily for you guys, I have a donor engine, so we can see exactly how the starter bolts onto the engine. The top bolt is going to be the hardest bolt, and that's because we got this motor mount in our way. But it gives us a good indication of what we're working at. So when we look at the front of the engine like this, we can't see that bolt. Our starter bolt that holds the starter on actually comes out through the rear. And right here is our transmission, and there is a heat shield that runs across here that we have to unhook from our transmission. That's all pretty simple stuff. I think this video is going to primarily talk about getting this one particular bolt off right here, which is going to be your trouble area. Okay, so now we need to remove the bolts that hold this cover onto the side of the engine frame. So now we're going to take a long screwdriver and we're going to pry off the rubber boot that houses our positive terminal cable to our starter. And get that out of the way because it will allow us easier access to our 13mm bolt that we need to remove. Now that's flipped up out of the way, that allows us almost straight access with a couple of extensions to get a 3/8 or a 1/4 inch drive extension with the 13mm on it to remove the actual nut. Now just a normal ratchet and an extension gets that thing right on there, and off. Now, with that off of there, we can see our uppermost bolt very easy. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this before the video, but do not loosen up this bolt before you take out that bolt. And the reason for that is your starter will go kittywampus, and once you get that bolt loosened, you can take your fingers in there and turn it out with your hand, unless you got an air ratchet that will fit up inside there to take it out, and I do. You can also remove it with a 13mm gear wrench. Probably one of the stubby ones would probably work pretty well once you get it loose the first time with the regular wrench. Okay, so there's two ways you can approach this top bolt. Obviously I'm not as special as I thought I was, or at least I once was anyways. You can come up through the back of here with your left arm, and you can put your hand right on the bolt, and you can go right through here. So what I ended up doing, I took my extra long 13mm gear wrench and I put it up inside there just like that to get on my bolt. Now that worked for me. For you at home, okay, so right now I'm putting two wrenches together, my 13mm and another wrench I pulled out of my toolbox to give me more leverage. This method works excellent for getting better leverage and loosening up them tight bolts. So for you guys at home, you can use the double wrench method. My bolt is loose, so I can't really show you, but it's hooked onto my wrench. I'm going to try to pull it out of here for you guys. Hooked onto my wrench just like that. And that'll help you break the bolt free. Until it's loose enough to turn with my fingers, I'm going to use a stubby 13mm wrench. You guys are just going to have to spend the 15 or 20 minutes to turn it out with a regular wrench if that's all you got. Now I've contorted my body in such a way it wasn't meant to be, and you really can't see it, but I've got my left hand up inside there, and I'm able to use my fingertips to unscrew the bolt. I can't even see what I'm doing, but you're getting the idea. And it's coming out. So just in case you're wondering how exactly I did that, I had the bolt with my finger on there, and I had my arm contorted back like this, and I took my finger, my other thumb, and I screwed the bolt as I held the top of it. And that is how I was able to get the bolt out. It was pretty easy to be, I mean, you know, it wasn't terribly easy, but it was easy enough. Now we're underneath the vehicle, and I'm not gonna spend a terrible amount of time on this, but we have this heat shield that was connected to the transmission and houses the fuel lines on it. We have that loose, and we're just gonna spin out our last bolt. And then we only have one more connector to loosen before we can remove the starter. Okay, the best opportunity we're gonna have to get the last connector loose is to put our arm back here and run it up underneath there. And then there's the connector, and we need to push down on this clip. We have to push the connector in and then pull it back. I don't know if it'll work on camera or if I need to like not try to do this through the camera. Success. Now we should be able to give our starter a little nudge, maybe with the pry bar or something, and pop it out of the way, and hopefully she comes out. The vehicle, and I got a pry bar running from back there, and I'm gonna hit on this spot right here, and hopefully the starter will come dislodged. So that was extremely successful, and the starter is dislodged, and from what I can tell, it may come out through the bottom here. So we've safely removed our starter without damaging anything. We had to bend up a little bit on the 10 heat covers. Don't be a hack. Put them heat covers back in there. The reason I only focused on this bolt was because I figured it was the hardest one. Hopefully you guys found the video helpful. I doubt it was entertaining, and I doubt you're having fun. But please don't hold that against me. Consider subscribing, clicking the notifications, and at the very least turning the volume down on your phone or your computer and just letting my videos play. I greatly appreciate you guys. Remember, if anybody else can do it, you can do it too. God bless. Have a great day.